Yo, Broncos country, we back and we're victorious yet again for the 11th win in a row. Got the Green Bay Packers 36 to or 34 to 26, and it was a hell of a game. I gotta say, shout out to the Packers because they definitely put up the kind of championship level fight that they're capable of. I did say before their defense is certainly one of the best in the league, and for the most part, they proved it, although they were pretty dinged up and they ended up even losing a couple of guys, including Micah Parsons today. Best wishes to him. Hopefully, he's able to come back healthy, especially for next year. But it seems as though it's pretty much all but confirmed. It was confirmed for Pat Mahomes, which we'll talk about along the way with a torn ACL, and I'm thinking that's probably going to end up being the case for Micah. So shout out to Micah, prayers and best wishes. Just unfortunately, you had to go against the Denver Broncos today, but it is what it is. And with that in mind, I'm just going to get right into the business here. We got to talk about that defense. Now, did they necessarily have their best game today? No. But did they necessarily get gashed and lit up and down the field like a lot of people thought the Packers had the ability to do? No. I mean, really and truly, everything that they were able to accomplish were either Brandon McManus field goals or two Josh Jacobs touchdowns. And to be perfectly honest, if not for Josh Jacobs, it probably isn't even that close. But either way, still able to come up with a huge win. Of course, you see Jonah Ellis amongst others. Came through pretty huge today. Jonah with a sack of his own. Jonathan Cooper, I believe, is the other. No, it was actually Devondre Tillman, excuse me. And I believe it was Jonathan Cooper and Zach Allen that shared the third sack. So only 3 sacks today. But the Broncos actually did force turnovers. And that's really huge for a variety of reasons, as a lot of us have talked about. And if for no other reason, the ones responsible for said turnovers would be that what has to be the best cornerback duo in all of football right now, Pat Surtain and Riley Moss. You can try all you want to, especially you non-Broncos fans. Try all in the fuck y'all want to. You're not coming up with a better cornerback tandem. You're just not. Not at this point. I mean, not to say that there aren't some pretty good ones, but on this particular level, fuck no. Absolutely fucking not. And to make matters even more favorable for the Broncos, I mean, they were timely turnovers, number one. Came at points that the Broncos definitely needed to see them, especially in that later stretch of the game. I believe both of them were actually in the third quarter. But either way, it was very, very important because Green Bay did actually get the ball to start the second half. And they actually started off as well as you could with the Josh Jacobs 40-yard touchdown rush. Again, if not for Josh Jacobs, I don't know that this game is even close. But they put up a hell of a fight, and I really do feel like it was worthy of being an actual potential Super Bowl preview. Maybe we see this matchup out in Santa Clara in February. Who knows? But if it is, y'all got to deal with these dudes again. Y'all got to deal with these dudes again. And with a championship on the line, I don't know. I don't know. And to top all that off, it just helps as a perfect segue for our main topic. We got to talk about the man again, Bo Nix. I mean, dude is coming through like a warrior. And of course, I do have to point out, you're noticing with all these pictures that I got right now, I'm not coming through with any numbers, not going to give you any stats or anything. Well, I'll give you stats. I'm actually going to go to the box score here as I check that. But, I mean, one of Bo's best games of the season, and there's just certainly no question about it, it was, oh, I love how they flashed for that, where it's on the Green Bay side. But 23 for 24 passing, 302 yards with 4 passing touchdowns. One to, what was it, Cortland Sutton, another to Troy Franklin, Little Jordan Humphrey, and Michael Bandy, if I recall correctly. Yes, that was his only catch of the game, a 20-yard touchdown pass from Bo Nix for Michael Bandy, who's, of course, filling in for Pat Bryant, who's out with injury right now. Hopefully, we'll be getting him back soon. I haven't really heard any specific updated details where he's concerned, but I'm liking to think we'll get him back in time for the playoff run, probably the last 2 games of the season. So we'll see about that there. Maybe even Jacksonville next week. But regardless, I mean, awesome stuff from the receivers. Cortland Sutton, 7 yards, 113 yards with a touchdown. Troy Franklin, 6 catches, 85 yards for a touchdown. He's been getting better. Little Jordan Humphrey again, 3 catches, 42 yards with the aforementioned touchdown. I mean, he came up huge today, and he was brought in to take on the role that Pat Bryant was taking on as a blocking receiver. And needless to say, he stepped up big, did LJH, in all the ways you could actually hope for. In place of Pat Bryant, by the way. I know I said that about Michael Bandy, but of course, it's really LJH that's filling the role of Pat Bryant, to where Bandy, if anything, is probably filling the role that LJH normally fills as a blocking receiver. But regardless, I mean, amazing stuff for the Broncos. I just can't say enough. Would have liked to have seen more from Ingram. I just realized he only had 1 catch for 12 yards, which was really huge because he gained a really important first down for the Broncos today. And you could argue just as much as Josh Jacobs kept the Packers in the game, you could argue that Evan Ingram, for that one play that he made, it was a play that was important, because if not for that, Broncos probably don't win as convincingly as they did, although I'm not going to say it's convincing, but it did wind up coming to a 4th-down situation for the Packers with the ball in their own territory, and the defense came up big, and not only once but twice down the stretch. So all in all, with the combination of that, obviously they're forcing turnovers. I'm pretty confident that was the case last week. That was definitely the case against the Commanders as well. But either way, turnovers are definitely going to be coming. They're not necessarily the greatest turnover forcing defense in the league, but they're starting to get better at it, and they've actually been getting better over the last X number of weeks, if we're being honest. So now all that remains is Jacksonville, Kansas City. Fuck you, Kansas City, by the way. But yeah, it'll be Jacksonville, Kansas City, in KC, and then LA at home for the finale. And chances are, depending on how things fall into place, that could fuck around and be that Sunday night finale for the regular season between the Broncos and the Chargers here in Denver. But either way, it's just hard to not be confident right now if you're a Broncos fan or a Broncos follower or whatever the case may be. And hell, I've even had a lot of friends who aren't necessarily Broncos fans, and they like the notion of what they're seeing from the Broncos, especially at this point. And you can't really, go after Bo Nix to trash him the way a lot of other people have been recently, because he's starting to show you can't really do that. You really can't do that, not with numbers like what he put up today. And people are acting like he can't put up these numbers. The fuck have y'all been watching? Seriously. But either way, comes through big with a big win over the Packers. Now the Broncos sit atop of the AFC along with the AFC West at 12-2. And I really do feel as if the number 1 seed is pretty much theirs to lose. It's hard for me to imagine them losing it at this point. I mean, even if they're to lose any one, and it would have to only be one of the remaining 3 games, but they won't. They're really running the table unless it gets to the point to where Peyton wants to rest all the guys and pretty much let the Chargers have a free win going into the playoffs, even though it won't really matter. But somehow I doubt that even. But all the same, to me, not even is it the number 1 seed, the AFC West division, the Super Bowl for that matter could very easily be the Broncos to lose at this point. And I'm just looking at it, of course, paying attention to all the other teams in the league, and there are definitely some good ones. And I said before, going into today, this is easily the toughest matchup for the Broncos to date thus far. And if the Packers didn't beat the Broncos, which they didn't, I don't see anyone else doing it the rest of the way. And that's not just me being a cocky or even overconfident Broncos fan, just looking at it objectively, seeing how everything's shaping up for the rest of the league. They've got a pretty uphill battle. I mean, right now, depending on how the Ravens fare, I would have to look at them as the only real true threat. Not even the Buffalo Bills, as they've been shaky at times. They're looking better over these last couple of weeks, don't get me wrong, but would they be good enough to come in here and repeat the feat that they did last year against the Broncos? Only it would likely be in the AFC Championship game at this point. I don't know. I mean, then again, I guess New England could hold on to their number 2 seed, and that works out how that does. But yeah, right now to me, the only real threat has to be Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who were soundly victorious today over the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, 20-0. Basically paid them back for that Thanksgiving game. But either way, let me know what y'all think down below. Are we feeling good, Broncos country? Do we like what we're seeing from our team? I would like to think we do. But, and even if you aren't a Broncos fan, let me know what y'all think down below. Everybody, let me know what y'all think down below of this now 11-game win streak. And, of course, y'all know what it is. If y'all enjoy the content, like, share, subscribe. And with that being said, this has been your time with A&J, and I appreciate you spending it with me. Have a good night, y'all.